Hey gamers! If you love beat-them-up games, then you've come to the right place. In this video, I'll show you the best new beat-them-up games that you should play in 2025. Please note, I know that this game is still coming soon, so I will not judge this game based on rankings, and the ranking here is just for a number. But before we go into the list, let's hear quick words from our sponsor. Looking for amazing deals on games? And our sponsor is what you need. And that's at Instant Gaming. This website offers huge discount that you cannot find anywhere else. You can search your favorite games for different platforms like PC, PS5, Xbox, and also Nintendo Switch. Do you want to get this amazing discount? It's simple. Just click my link in this description below. Create your own ID and start by your favorite games here. And once you make a purchase, you will receive the activation code to redeem for your chosen platforms. And by using my link, you'll not only save your money, but also support this channel. Amazing! Alright then, let's get back into the list. Karate Punk is beat-them-up roguelike where you playing as Sunny, a high school lad who's also a karate practitioner. One day, while you're in class, ninjas break into the classroom and kidnap your girlfriend. Now, it's up to you to save her. You'll be up against waves of enemies, and it's all about mastering your moves and timing. This ain't just a run-of-the-mill beat-em-up. You'll be scrapping through the streets, throwing fists and kicks inspired by all sorts of martial arts. We're talking karate, boxing, kung fu, wrestling, even Muay Thai. This roguelike action game has over 200 moves, so you can blend and bash your way to becoming the top dog. Blades and Battles is a fantasy beat-them-up that chucks you straight into the wild world of King Arthur when he was a young barbarian. It's like a modern spin on the classic Golden Axe. In this game, you've got two characters to pick from, Arthur and Lancelot. Each has their own unique skills and sword-fighting styles. The game doesn't just throw you into the action. It really pulls you into the adventure with a sense of chivalry and honor. Plus, you can play it in shared or split-screen co-op, which is a proper laugh with a mate. It's coming out on all the big platforms on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and the Switch. Red Rust. It's a retro-style side-scroller that's mashed up fighting and shooting mechanics like a full English breakfast on a Sunday morning. Set in the year 1984, you step into the boots of Agent Red. She's a Soviet KGB officer on a sneaky mission to the West. Don't be fooled by her looks. She's a right tough cookie, brutal and as cold as a winter's day. This game's a proper nod to the 8-bit and 16-bit classics of the 90s. But don't think for a sec it's living in the past. It's got the modern gamer sorted with top-notch animations, lush hand-drawn backgrounds, and a banging soundtrack that'll have you bopping along as you play. Heroes of Mount Dragon. It's a fast-paced side-scrolling brawler where you and your mates race to be the first to beat powerful bosses while kicking monster butt. You pick from 4 dragon-morphing heroes, each with their own style of fighting, and transform into a dragon to unleash mad attacks. The game mixes frantic combat with a bit of roguelite progression and even has that racing vibe like kart games. Every run is different, so you'll never get bored. You can play locally with friends or hop online to take on players from all over. Every race is a fresh challenge, with random levels, enemies, and events that keep things interesting. King's Blade is a cracking beat-em-up that'll have you swinging swords and spells like a right warrior. With 6 playable characters, you'll bash through 12 unique levels, taking on the savage Barganian Empire in epic battles. The combat's proper intense, packed with combos, weapons, and spells that'll keep you on your toes. Plus, with local co-op for up to 4 players, you can team up with mates or AI for some full-on chaos. It's set to drop in 2025, and it's looking like a proper gem. Rushing Beat X Return of Brawl Brothers brings back the classic beat-them-up action with new moves, weapons, and characters in the mad city of Neo Cisco. The game's got easy-to-pick-up combat, with combo chains, counterattacks, and rage mode for proper finishing moves. You can team up with a mate in 2-player co-op, mixing up characters and strategies. With a load of stages, side missions, and a cheeky food system for buffs, this game's shaping up to be a solid blast for old-school fans, as long as the visuals get a good polish. I do hope the developers really polish things up in the visuals, but if they do, this could end up being a proper gem. Keep an eye on it, because Rushing Beat might finally get the spotlight it's always deserved.
To health and swore an oath.
The Phantom is back, and he's packing a punch in this cracking side-scrolling brawler. This game serves up classic beat-them-up mechanics, paired with stunning hand-drawn 2D visuals that really make it feel like you're playing through a comic book. You can play as the Phantom himself, or his partner Diana Palmer as you embark on a 15-level mission to take down the evil Singh Brotherhood. From swinging punches to using an arsenal of weapons, you'll be clearing levels filled with pirates and nefarious foes. If you're looking for a solid brawler that's packed with nostalgia and dripping with comic book charm, the Phantom is right up your street. Tenet of the Spark is a thrilling action game where you play as Will, a former boxer gifted with the power of Viking and Aztec warriors, as he returns to his hometown to confront his past. The game lets you switch between the Vikings' brute strength and the Aztecs' agility to solve puzzles, explore ancient lands, and take on enemies in dynamic combat. Every fight is a puzzle, using a mix of boxing, hammer smashing, and deadly boomerangs to defeat foes. The environments are interactive, with each world offers a different way to interact with the environment, solving puzzles and uncovering the city's darkest secrets. If you're into story-driven action games with a bit of a twist, this one's definitely worth checking out.
I must know the truth. I must know who I am.
Streets of Chaos is a proper banger of a retro beat-them-up like the old-school classics such as Streets of Rage and Double Dragon. You play as Franco, a chilled-out martial artist, off on a mission to track down his missing brother in a dodgy city full of criminals. Team up with Sophie, a fast and fearless fighter, or Manuel, a massive ex-soldier who loves swinging big gear. The game's well-sorted with modes like story, survival, and even a wild 16v16 arena showdown. There's also mini-games to get stuck into, where you can unlock even more characters. If you're into a bit of mayhem and old-school brawling, this one's definitely worth a go. Overrider is a hardcore cyberpunk beat-them-up that mixes intense side-scrolling combat with an intriguing twist. The story unfolds as Chio searches for answers, diving into a cyberpunk world full of secrets, danger, and dark mysteries. The gameplay offers both traditional and simplified command modes to suit all players. With side-scrolling arcade-style gameplay, you can choose between traditional or simplified controls to fit your skill level. It's an intriguing mix of action and strategy, and you're always on your toes, juggling between the high-stakes fights and running your own clinic. Overrider is coming to early access in Q4 2024, so keep an eye out for updates as it develops. Troublemaker 2 is an absolute riot of a game that'll have you hooked from start to finish. Set 2 years after the original, this open-world beat-them-up brings you back to the lively streets of South Jakarta, Indonesia, a bustling city full of dreams, drama, and of course, a fair bit of chaos. The game blend of fast-paced action, stylish combat, and the power of friendship, because this lot are inseparable. You'll get the chance to unleash mad combos and fight through some tough enemies, all while uncovering the secrets of South Jakarta. The game's got plenty of cool features, from fighting in different areas of the city to discovering unique shops and hidden items. If you're looking for a game with a proper laugh, a gripping story, and some cracking combat, Troublemaker 2 is well worth it to your wish list. Terrifier, the ARTcade game, looks like it's going to be proper carnage, with a heavy dose of dark humor and over-the-top gore. You'll play as Art the Clown, bringing chaos to film sets with brutal, bloody combat and hilarious finishers. The pixel art's got that retro vibe, all bright and cartoony, but definitely not shy on the blood. 4-player local co-op sounds like a laugh, whether you're teaming up or going head-to-head with your mates. The chiptune soundtrack and intense boss battles are sure to add to the chaos. Until I actually get me hands on it, it's hard to say for sure, but if it lives up to the hype, it could be a wicked throwback to those classic arcade beat-em-ups. Pizza Kid is a proper belter of a game, mixing 90s anime vibes with classic arcade brawling. You play as Kid, a young martial artist who's as fast with his fists as he is with a pizza delivery. You must recover the 8 sacred seed stones to stop the evil villain, Santos, from destroying the world. You will face off against creepy creatures, zombie ninjas, deadly drones, and massive bosses, all while delivering punches and kicks with the speed of a seasoned martial artist. The animations are smooth, the combat feels tight and responsive, and the whole thing just oozes style, like something straight out of a 90s graphic novel or anime series. Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Ultimate takes the classic beat-them-up to the next level with fresh gameplay built on Unreal Engine 5, making it smoother and flashier than ever. You can team up with mates in local co-op or go head-to-head with up to 8 players online, and it's cross-platform, so you'll never be short of a scrap. The story follows Phantom, and your goal is to stop the villainous Phantom, who is using powerful Fu-Mintian artifacts to manipulate fighters into battling each other. By winning these battles, Phantom aims to create a tear in space and time, which will help him regain his lost powers. With its flashy action and solid multiplayer, Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Ultimate is set to be a belter when it lands in 2025. Fallen City Brawl is a retro-inspired beat-them-up that channels the best of 80s and 90s classics like Streets of Rage and Final Fight. The game lets players choose from 4 unique characters, each with their own weapons and special moves, like Clay's shotgun and Natasha's boomerang wrench, while the combat system adds depth with combos, counters, and ground moves. The game also introduces a wolf companion that you can train and command during certain stages. Fallen City Brawl stands out with its Riot super moves and training system to level up characters. While the full release date is still to come, the Steam demo offers a promising taste of what's to come. If you're into classic beat-em-ups, this one's worth keeping on your radar. Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles was a bit of a flop back in 2000, but it's getting a remaster. The new version, out on January 23, 2025. The remaster comes with snazzier visuals and gameplay tweaks, like letting you play as secret characters from the start. You'll be able to fix lightsaber color issues, like giving Mace Windu his proper purple blade. The game lets you pick from a bunch of Jedi characters, including Mace Windu, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon Jinn. It's also got a 2-player co-op mode for some couch gaming with mates. While it's not one of the best Star Wars games, it's a fun trip down memory lane for fans. Mayhem Brawler 2 is a proper mashup of classic 90s beat-them-up vibes and modern roguelite and RPG elements. You'll be hopping between 2 timelines, each with legends like Stellar and She-Wolf, as they dig into a nasty secret in Mayhem City. You can pick from 8 characters, each with their own mad abilities, to take on over 40 different enemies. Whether you're going solo or teaming up with up to 4 mates, the co-op action is top-notch. The story changes based on your choices, with voiceovers bringing it all to life, and the hand-drawn, comic-style art and frame-by-frame animation look amazing. Jay and Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch is a beat-them-up game that mixes classic action with the unique humor and style of Jay and Silent Bob. It's a follow-up to Jay and Silent Bob's Mall Brawl and brings players back into the world of Kevin Smith's iconic characters. Gameplay's smooth as butter, too. You can go solo or team up for some co-op fun. I only played on my own, but switching between Jay and Silent Bob felt spot on. They've each got their own special moves, and they can even tag team for some proper mad combos. The boss battle at the end was class, with a giant hockey player to take down. Proper old school beat 'em up stuff, and I was well hooked by the end. Double Dragon Revive. We're getting that classic beat-them-up action, but with a bit of a twist. Think parkour and swing jumping mechanics thrown into the mix. This isn't like the pixel art Double Dragon Gaiden that came out before. Instead, Arc Systems has gone for a more modern look, giving the game a polished, realistic art style that reminds us of Double Dragon Neon from 2012, but with a more serious vibe. The gameplay will keep that signature belt-scrolling action, but now you've got new features to spice things up, like an instant death move, critical attacks, and fresh grapple moves. And all the main characters are getting fully voiced by well-known actors, including Kazuyuki Akitsu and Takedo Koyasu, so expect top-notch performances.
Face Lightning's judgment!
Big Helmet Heroes is a mental 3D beat-them-up action game where you play as knights smashing through enemies in colorful worlds. It's all about charging in, swinging daft weapons, and causing chaos. You start off as one knight, but as you progress, you free other knights, each with their own style and weapons. There are different knights to choose from, and each knight has their own way of making enemies regret crossing their path. You can swap between knights on the fly, so if one's having a rest, you can get the other knight to crack on and take out enemies with whatever mad weapon they've picked up. Whether you're flying solo or teaming up with a mate in two-player co-op, the combat's a mix of proper strategic blocking and wild button mashing action. Breeze in the Clouds is an exciting upcoming 2D action-adventure game where you play as a brave corgi named Breeze. Your mission to fight the pollution ruining the world and put things right. The game really gives off Captain Planet energy, fighting pollution and saving the environment. Gameplay is all about using Breeze's elemental powers in combo-heavy combat. The footage we've seen looks pretty wicked, with Breeze throwing down some impressive weather-based attacks. Think tornadoes, lightning bolts, and gusts of wind. It's a real blast. This game is a delightful mix of fun combat, adorable visuals, and a good old environmental message. Acts of Blood is a game came from Indonesia. This action-packed game gives off a brutal vibe that will remind you of the iconic Indonesian action film The Raid. The game is set in the city of Bandung, and it will feature a variety of bosses with different levels of difficulty. Acts of Blood lets you dive into brutal hand-to-hand combat, or use various blunt weapons and guns. The brutal atmosphere is enhanced by environmental destruction, and the gameplay allows you to throw enemies into various objects until they collapse, complete with realistic sound effects. On top of that, the game's visuals are really impressive. The animations are smooth, and the 3D models of the main character look fantastic.
Over, and I won't stop until I kill them all.
Kiborg is an upcoming 3D beat-them-up RPG with roguelite elements where you dive into endless combat. The combat itself is brilliant, with smooth combos and intense lunging attacks, all set to some kick-ass music. Weapons like sledgehammers, street signs, and pistols add variety, with the sledgehammer being my personal favorite for smashing enemies to bits. The gameplay is fun and creative, and it's clear this could be a big hit when it fully releases. My only gripe is that it's just a demo, leaving me wanting more. Despite that, the potential for long-term enjoyment is huge. Overall, I'd give it an 8 out of 10, and I can't wait for the full release. The Toxic Crusaders are making a comeback in a new beat-them-up game by Retroware, set to release in fall 2024. Based on the 1991 cartoon, this game lets up to 4 players team up to clean the streets of Traumaville from radioactive baddies. You can choose from 7 playable characters like Toxie, No Zone, Junkyard, Major Disaster, Headbanger, and, for the first time, Toxie's girlfriend Yvonne and his mom, Mrs. Junko. Check out the gameplay demo to see the Toxic Crusaders in action. The game will be available on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4 and 5, Steam, Nintendo Switch, and the Epic Games Store. For now, you can wishlist it on Steam. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is an upcoming arcade-style brawler developed by Digital Eclipse, set to launch in 2024. The game is a throwback to the classic 1990s beat-them-up games. with plenty of nostalgia for Power Rangers fans and lovers of retro games alike. The combat's solid, with your basic attacks, a launcher, a dodge button, and an ultimate move that you can charge up. The game's got a bit of everything, including vehicle sections and epic Megazord boss battles, keeping things fresh. There are plenty of cheeky Easter eggs and nods to the Power Rangers universe, like familiar foes and collectible bits. It's a real treat for longtime fans, packed with all sorts of little references. And for bonus, we have Detained Too Good for School. It's a bit mad, a bit naughty, and definitely one for the rebellious types. This game's a 2D action RPG with a good mix of school simulation and street brawls. During the day, you're juggling classes and dealing with school drama. But when the sun sets, you're hitting up the local clubs, diners, and even underground arenas, spending your hard-earned cash or getting into a few scraps. And let's not forget the romance options. You've got 8 different love interests to choose from, including both blokes and girls. You can date, fight alongside them, or even friend-zone them and still get cool perks. And another bonus for you to know Spine, this is Gun Fu. After catching a glimpse of it at Gamescom 2024, this game's shaping up to be a proper John Wick-style action fest. The gameplay's all about high-energy action, with a hefty dose of that slick Gun Fu style you'd expect from Hong Kong action flicks, The Matrix, and of course, John Wick. There are dodges, combos, finishing moves, and even some cheeky crowd control moments where Redline whips out cans of spray paint like their weapons. The game has potential, but right now, it's hard to say whether it'll deliver. There are glimmers of something great, but it still needs polish. The developers clearly love the genre they're working in, so if they can iron out the rough patches, Spine This Is Gun Fu could be a solid sci-fi action game. And that's it for today. What do you think about this list? I know there are best beat-them-up games out there that I haven't mentioned yet. Please share your favorite beat-them-up games that you think deserve a spot here. Don't forget to like this video, and make sure you subscribe to this channel if you don't want to miss another great list. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.